Good morning, my name is Gary Britland. I'm at Church Accrington, Lancashire, and this is St James Church, a historic site which dates back to 642 AD. And this village had a great influence in Lancashire's Industrial Revolution. The Peals came here in 1772 to manufacture calico, and they lived at Church Bank. Edmund Peal came here with his brother William, and the family had a great influence in this area, and they pumped a lot of money into this village and borough. So much so that the actual rebuilding of this church happened in 1803 by the diocese. An order was passed to rebuild it, and then in about 1815 Robert Peal, who was a second baronet, he was the father of the Prime Minister Robert Peal of England, and he said to him, I'll offer to pay for either Peal bells or an organ, a brand new organ for the church. And eventually he decided to pay for an organ. He paid £26 and 5 shillings in 1815. It was enlarged in 1849, and after further work, when the chancel was added in 1894, it was enlarged again. And the company was Thomas Hardy and Sons of Stockport, and it's a massive organ with about 1,500 pipes. It's now covered up in the church and protected because it's worth quite a lot of money because of the Peal name who bought it. And the organist at the time in 1894 was headmaster of the day school, which still survives, still stands on Church Street Church, and his name was Mr. W. Folds. He was rector, and Mr. Joseph Glasson Denison, and it was restored by Thomas Pendlebury and Co. of Cleveley's. It was estimated to replace, it would cost about £100,000 because it was so big. The repair, the restoration that they decided on would cost a mere £10,000, basically just to clean all the pipes, etc., and give it a good cleaning. It took 4 stages, and in 1981 there was 600 pipes. That was the swell organ was cleaned out, and then in 1982 700 pipes were cleaned. That was the great organ, and in 1983 240 pipes were cleaned. That was the choir organ, and the 4th stage was in 1984 when it was finished, and it was restored entirely. A total of 1,540 pipes, so it must be an absolutely massive organ, and the sound must be amazing. Unfortunately at the moment it's closed. It's being looked into and tried to be restored by a committee that we are working with the diocese to do something with the church for the community, but the Peal family had a great influence for this church, and also the many other calico inventors. Frederick Gatty, you had James Simpson, Joseph Barnes, which was a partner of the Peal family at the time. The first company that the Peals were with was called Howarth, Peal and Yates, and then they didn't last long in the calico industry, and then Joseph Barnes joined them, and Frederick Steiner took over the whole site, a massive print works at church just here, Church Bank, and it was that big and made such an influence. The Peals at the time asked the canal company who was making the canal, Leeds and Liverpool Canal, to actually go around the works and the church at the time. They didn't want the canal to go over the actual works, so the canal snakes right round instead of going across, which at the bottom is a 90-degree angle at Hargreaves Mill. and that's why the canal snakes round. So the Peals must have had a hell of a lot of influence and money sustained in this area to stop them from making the canal going over their works. So this church, there's a lot of items, valuable items that need to be restored, are historic, especially if it's connected with the Peal name. Thank you.